What's going on, traders? Back at you with another great helpful learning video. I think this is going to help a lot of people because this is just a new trade, not new, but it's a different trading strategy that I've never taught anybody or never showed anybody thus far. And I think this can help a lot of traders because a lot of people get nervous about jumping in right at the opening bell, and things are just so crazy and they move so fast that sometimes you can't wrap your head around it, or you can't get in your orders when you want to get in them, and it just gets all hectic. Okay, so this is a strategy that helps you be a little bit more patient and helps you wait before you get into a stock. And really, what it does is it helps you read a stock and where it could potentially go much easier than some of the other strategies out there. So what am I talking about? What strategy is this? The strategy is nothing secret. It's nothing that you maybe haven't already heard about, but it's called trading the opening range. It's the opening range strategy. Now, what is the opening range? The opening range is considered the first 30 minutes of trading. Now, the first 30 minutes of trading can have highs and they can have lows. So what does that mean? The opening range is going to have a high and it's going to have a low point, which allows you to draw a resistance and a support level, okay? So you take your first 30 minutes of trading and you draw a support at the lowest price at which that stock traded in the first 30 minutes of trading. Then you also take your second line, which is your resistance line, and you draw that line at which the stock got to its highest point. So at which point did the stock sell up to its highest point and then come down, or if it kept going or whatnot. So you're going to take your lowest point of the first 30 minutes of trading and your highest point of the first 30 minutes of trading, and now you will have a resistance and you will have a support area. And the concept is that the opening range will give you the support and this resistance, and that the stock should trade within that channel all day long, or that's going to be its daily range. The opening range provides a daily range. Doesn't mean that it won't fall below the support or won't go above the support or the resistance, but it gives you an easy way to project a support and a resistance at which the stock should perform relatively close to all day long. So if it's on the low and it's close to support, you know it could be a good time to buy. Or if it's high and it's at resistance, you know it could be a good time to sell. Okay, so let's go into it. How are we going to plot the opening range? Well, this is the stock TOPS, and I'm going to do a recap here on this stock in a second about how it rips so much. But for now, we're looking at the opening range. So these are 5-minute candles we're looking at. So if we go by 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. This is our 30-minute trading period. This is at which the stock has been open for 30 minutes. This is our opening range, just this small little area. So considering that is what it is, we're going to take it and we're going to draw a line right here. That is our opening range support. And then we take the line right here. This is our opening range resistance. Doesn't look like much because the stock just crushed it, okay? And we'll do it another one. We'll do an opening range on another stock. But the idea is that this is your opening range, and the stock should play somewhere within this channel all day long. If it breaks below this, you can be sure that it's going to keep going, okay? It's already broken through the daily support where it opened up at, and then here is what we call an opening range breakout, okay? When the stock breaks above its opening range, we now have an opening range breakout, and the opening range is no longer valid. And now you can kind of go into playing different chart patterns or pullbacks or bull flags and stuff like that. Okay, so this is what we call the opening range. You take the first 30 minutes of trading, you find your high, you draw the resistance line, you find your low, and you draw the support line. Okay, so if this were to break out a little bit and come right back down into this area, you could say to yourself, down here is probably the good time to buy because it may bounce off of it. Now, yeah, you may want to look at some other indicators to, justify your actions of getting in a position at that time. But this is how it works. You have your opening range, okay? TOPS may not be the best example of showing how a stock fumbles in the opening range, but it does show you that just because you have an opening range plotted does not mean the stock has to abide by those rules. It can easily break through, get an opening range breakout, and continue crushing it for the majority of the day. Now let's go ahead and let's just pull up any random stock. Let's even use AMD, for example. So let's look at AMD. Let me go ahead and remove some of my drawings on here. So this is AMD right now, let's do a 1-day 5-minute. Yep, so this is AMD right now, okay? And these are 5-minute candles. So based on, and we can do it for this day and then we'll do it for this day. So based on these last 2 days, right? So we have AMD, the first 30 minutes of trading, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. This is the 30-minute candle, or you could say the 30 minutes of trading, but the high is up here. So at 1444, we reached our high within the 30 minutes of trading in that day. And this is our low where the stock opened up. So look at that opening range. This is the opening range. We have our 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Within these first 30 minutes of candle, we have our low for the day and we have our high for the day. Like I said, just because you have a high and a low from the opening range does not mean the stock is going to follow those rules, and it doesn't mean that the stock can't break below support or go above support. So keep that in mind. Okay, but the main takeaway is that we have the opening range printed out. We have it drawn. Our trend lines, our support and resistance are now drawn and give us a projection going forward for the rest of the day. Okay, so now you have opening range, resistance, support. Look what happens. The stock never broke through the resistance, and it never fell through the support. And what happened is the stock ended up trading within this zone all day long. And that's what we call the opening range, where the stock opens up, 30 minutes of trading, resistance, support. Now you have a space in which there's a good chance that stock is going to trade in all day long. So once the stock hits 1444, pulls back a little bit, goes back up to retest that high and fails to get in, and then we end up going down, that would be a good time to potentially short the stock. You notice that we just had a double top. It did not break through its opening range the first time, so now you could possibly pull a short, and look what happens if you were to short this stock. You would have won all day long. No doubt right there. Okay, we're not going to go into stop losses about shorting it, but if you were to short the stock, you would have been winning all day long. Now if we go into today's trading for AMD, you can easily see, let me remove these drawings once again. Not that guy. Now, so let's do it again. So first 30 minutes of trading, we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. So within that first 30 minutes of trading, the high is right here. Oop, gotta double click. High is right there, and your low is at 1387. So look at this. Now we have the opening range. We're literally sitting right in the middle of the opening range, so you're not next to resistance and you're not sitting on support. So how can you tell it's a good time to buy? That comes down to, how well of a trader you are and what kind of style you like doing. Right now I have no moving averages on my chart. That's because I just want to make the chart very easy and simple for everyone to understand when we're doing the opening range. But through this, you will have moving averages, and then you can use your moving averages as the support and resistance within your opening range. So this isn't your only support and only resistance to go on based on your day of trading. You have moving averages that you can plot on your chart that will now be your support and resistance zones within the bigger scheme of things, the bigger picture, which is the opening range of trading. Okay, so that's all that the opening range is just an idea of where you have support and resistance plotted for the whole day after the first 30 minutes of trading. And why the first 30 minutes of trading? Why is that? Because the first 30 minutes of trading is when the market is most active. It'll be the most volatile. You will see the most shares exchange from one person to the other and the most volume in the market. With that being said, if that's the first 30 minutes is the most volatile time in the market, that's the time, or that is the point at which you will see the biggest price movements or biggest quick price movements. Doesn't mean they can't happen in the later of the day, but most commonly or majority of the time, the biggest price movements or price action will occur within the first 30 minutes of trading, which means you will have the best chance, or you will see your highs and your lows for the day within the first 30 minutes of trading. Chances are the stock will either rip really quick, come down, or shoot down, come back up, and you'll have your first 30 minutes or your opening range within the first 30 minutes of trading, and that's why it's called the opening range and a few other things, but for the main takeaway, that's what you need to know about the opening range. So I hope that helps. We just went over 2 stocks. If you guys have any questions about the opening range, feel free to leave comments and posts below. I'm always trying to get around to everybody's questions. I know sometimes I don't, but what can I say? Super busy. So that's the video. I hope you guys like it. Like I said, any questions, just comment and post below, and I'll see you in the next one.